The story begins with a young woman named Tess, who arrives late at night in a dark and abandoned neighborhood. She stops her car in front of a creepy house that she booked through an online rental app because of a job interview in this city. Heavy rain is pouring down, and when Tess reaches the door with her luggage, the password doesn't work. The door feels locked from the inside, as if someone is already there. This instantly makes Tess nervous, because it's very late, the street is empty, and no one is around. With no other option, she goes back to her car and is about to complain to the rental service. Suddenly, the lights inside the house turn on. Shocked, Tess walks back and rings the doorbell. After a few moments, an unknown man opens the door and asks why she is here so late at night. Tess explains that she booked this house online, but the man is equally surprised and says that he also booked the same house. He shows his booking details on his phone to prove it. Disappointed and confused, Tess decides to leave, but the man stops her. He says the rain is too heavy and it's unsafe outside, so she can stay just for the night and leave in the morning. Tess agrees because she has no better choice, but deep inside, she feels uncomfortable. His politeness feels a little too perfect. When the man goes to the bathroom, Tess secretly checks his wallet and looks at his ID. She confirms that his name is Keith and quietly takes a photo of his ID on her phone, just in case something goes wrong later. This is the moment where the story slowly starts turning dark and unsettling. Keith comes back and openly admits that he knows Tess doesn't fully trust him. To make her feel safe, he offers to sleep on the couch while Tess takes the bedroom. Wanting a secure place for the night, Tess agrees, locks the bedroom door from inside, and falls asleep. Sometime later, Tess wakes up to strange noises. When she opens her eyes, she freezes. The bedroom door is open, even though she clearly remembers locking it. She hears disturbing sounds from outside, and suddenly, the basement door shuts on its own. Terrified, Tess steps out and sees Keith sleeping deeply on the couch, like he's having a bad dream. She wakes him and asks if he opened her door, but Keith firmly denies it and says he was asleep the whole time. Tess calms herself and returns to her room, locking the door again. The next morning, Tess wakes up and notices that Keith is gone. He leaves behind a note saying he stepped out for some urgent work and will return by evening. Tess gets ready for her interview and steps outside. That's when she truly realizes something is wrong. The entire neighborhood is completely deserted. Broken houses, silence everywhere, and not a single person in sight. It feels like she is the only one living there. Though it feels strange and unsettling, Tess ignores it because she's already late and heads to her interview. At the company, the interview goes very well. The director is impressed by Tess's confidence and answers. Casually, she asks where Tess is staying in the city. As soon as Tess mentions Barbary Street, the director's expression changes completely. She panics and warns Tess that the area is extremely dangerous and tells her to leave that place as soon as possible. Without explaining anything further, the director quickly walks away, leaving Tess confused, scared, and unaware that the real horror has only just begun. That evening, when Tess returns to the house, the director's warning keeps echoing in her mind. Now, even she feels scared of this place. As she is about to unlock the door, she suddenly notices an unknown man running straight toward her. Panicking, Tess quickly opens the door and rushes inside. The man starts banging aggressively on the door, shouting for her to come out. Completely terrified, Tess tries to call the police. After a few tense moments, the man suddenly disappears. Only then does Tess finally breathe in relief. Trying to calm herself, Tess goes to the bathroom, but soon realizes the toilet paper is finished. She searches around the house and then looks toward the basement, thinking there might be some stored there. Tess goes downstairs and finds a box of toilet paper, but the moment she turns back to leave, the basement door suddenly slams shut on its own. She pulls the door with all her strength, but it won't open. To make things worse, her phone is still upstairs. That's when Tess understands. No one is coming to help her. Gathering her courage, Tess starts looking for another way out. She notices a small basement window and tries to open it, but quickly realizes it can only be opened from the outside. Now trapped, she searches for something heavy to break the glass. That's when she notices a rope sticking out from inside the wall. Without thinking too much, Tess pulls the rope, and a hidden door suddenly opens. Behind it is a pitch-dark room. Tess peers inside, but she can't see anything. Fear fills her mind, yet her curiosity takes over. Using a mirror, she reflects the basement light into the dark space. As the light hits, she sees a narrow tunnel-like passage. With shaking steps, Tess moves forward and reaches another room. The moment she opens the door, her blood runs cold. Inside, there is a filthy bed and an old video camera placed nearby. It's clear that something very wrong has been happening here. Then Tess notices bloody handprints smeared across the wall. Completely horrified, she runs back toward the basement window. Outside, she spots Keith. Seeing him, Tess screams for help. Luckily, Keith hears her and instantly understands that she's trapped below. He rushes inside, opens the basement door, and pulls Tess out. Once outside, Tess is shaking with fear and immediately decides to pack her bags and leave the house. But Keith stops her and asks what she saw in the basement. Tess tells him everything: the secret room, the dirty bed, and the camera, and warns him that this place is not safe at all. Still, Keith doesn't fully believe her. He insists on going down to see it himself. He says that if there really is danger, they will leave together immediately. Keith asks Tess to wait upstairs, explaining that if both of them go down and the door closes again, they could be trapped forever. Despite Tess begging him not to go, Keith ignores her warnings and slowly walks toward the basement. Tess stays upstairs, anxiously waiting. Time keeps passing, but Keith doesn't come back, and Tess begins to panic, realizing something has gone terribly wrong. Tess walks back to the basement door and calls out for Keith, but there is no response from inside. Left with no choice, she gathers her courage and decides to go down again. This time, she is extra careful. She places a chair in front of the basement door, so it won't close behind her. Turning on her phone's flashlight, Tess slowly moves forward, calling out Keith's name, but he is nowhere to be seen. She reaches the same room with the dirty bed and the camera, but Keith isn't there either. Her fear grows stronger with every step. As she moves deeper, Tess notices a set of stairs leading further down. Suddenly, she hears Keith's voice from below, screaming for help. Even though she's terrified, Tess follows his voice and goes down the stairs. What she discovers is shocking. There is another basement hidden beneath the first one. Moving carefully, she calls out to Keith again. Out of nowhere, Keith crawls toward her on the ground like a wounded animal. He is shaking with fear and urgently tells Tess to stay quiet. He reveals that someone else is down there, something that attacked him and bit him. Before they can escape, a tall, horrifying woman suddenly rushes toward them. She grabs Keith and brutally smashes him against the wall, killing him instantly. Tess freezes in pure shock, unable to move or scream, and just like that, the story suddenly cuts. 2 weeks later, the film shifts to a new character named AJ, a struggling TV actor. His life is completely falling apart. A co-star has accused him of sexual assault, destroying his career overnight. While trying to prove his innocence in court, AJ loses almost all of his money. The only thing he has left is his house on Barbary Street, and as a last hope, he decides to sell it. When AJ arrives at the house, he notices someone else's belongings scattered inside. Seeing Tess's car outside, he suspects that someone has been secretly living in his home. He searches the house room by room, but finds no one upstairs. Then his attention shifts to the basement door, blocked by a chair. Now fully convinced something is wrong, AJ hears faint movement from below. To protect himself, he grabs a flashlight and a knife and heads down into the basement. Down there, AJ finds the same hidden room with the filthy bed and the camera. He continues exploring and discovers the stairs leading even deeper underground. Instead of being scared, AJ gets excited. He believes all this extra space will increase his house's value. He pulls out a measuring tape and starts measuring the basement like it's a real estate upgrade. While measuring, AJ enters a strange room where an old TV is playing a disturbing video of a mother breastfeeding her child. Suddenly, something yanks the measuring tape from his hand. Panicked, AJ shines his flashlight around but sees no one. Moments later, he hears a deep growling sound. Out of the darkness, the same tall and terrifying woman steps forward. Terrified, AJ runs, but falls into a deep pit. The woman slams a metal gate shut above him, trapping him inside. Completely confused and scared, AJ struggles to understand what is happening. Then he notices someone else in the pit. It's Tess. She has been trapped there for the past 2 weeks. AJ is mentally broken, but Tess tries to calm him down. She warns him not to make any noise, because if that woman hears them, she will come back and kill them both. Tess clearly tells AJ that if they want to stay alive, they must obey everything that strange woman says. If they don't, escaping from this place will be impossible. After some time, the horrifying woman returns and lowers a milk bottle down toward Tess. With no choice left, Tess drinks from the bottle like a small child, without asking any questions. Then the woman offers the bottle to AJ, but he refuses. Tess signals him to stop resisting and silently follow what the woman wants. She explains that this woman only wants them to behave like her children. Even then, AJ refuses to drink the milk. This instantly makes the woman angry. She climbs down into the pit, gently hugs Tess like a good child, and then turns her furious gaze toward AJ. Without mercy, she drags AJ away. She takes him to the same room where the TV shows disturbing mother and child videos. With her twisted mindset, she tries to force the same behavior onto AJ, but the woman makes one small mistake. While dragging AJ away, she forgets to close the pit gate. Tess immediately takes advantage of this moment and quietly climbs out. She starts running, but accidentally hits the measuring tape lying on the floor. The sound alerts the woman. Realizing Tess is escaping, she leaves AJ behind and chases after her. Tess runs with all her strength toward the basement's main door, but it's locked. She bangs on it desperately. When it doesn't open, Tess smashes the nearby window and tries to crawl out. The woman is now dangerously close. At that exact moment, a man from outside grabs Tess and pulls her out forcefully. If he had been even a second late, Tess would have been killed. The terrifying woman reaches the window right after. The man who saves Tess turns out to be the same person who earlier warned her not to enter the house. Tess tells him that a dangerous woman lives inside, but he isn't surprised. He already knows. In a harsh tone, he tells Tess to leave the city immediately. He warns her that if she stays, that woman will find her and keep her trapped forever. Tess then tells him that another man is still trapped inside and needs help. The man coldly replies that surviving is enough and warns her again. Once night falls, that woman comes out. If Tess stays nearby, she will definitely be caught. Leaving the choice to Tess, the man walks away. Tess wants to leave, but her kind heart won't let her abandon AJ. She decides to find help instead. Meanwhile, inside the tunnels, AJ tries to escape. Suddenly he hears the woman's terrifying growl. Panicked, AJ runs into a tunnel with the woman chasing him. He reaches a dead end and realizes there is no escape. He is sure he's about to die. But something strange happens. The woman suddenly stops. She refuses to move forward, then quietly turns back and leaves. AJ is confused. Why did she stop? Turning around, AJ notices an old door behind him. Gathering his courage, he enters the room. The room is filthy, cluttered with junk, and a TV is playing. Suddenly, he hears a weak sound from behind. When AJ turns his flashlight, he sees a very old, sick man lying on a bed. He can barely move and struggles to speak. AJ assumes the terrifying woman has kept this man imprisoned as well. AJ tries to help him, but the old man keeps pointing toward a drawer, desperately wanting AJ to open it. Confused but curious, AJ pulls the drawer open. The moment he looks inside, his blood runs cold. The drawer is filled with recorded tapes, each labeled with a different woman's name. When AJ plays one of the tapes, he sees the horrifying truth. The old man on the screen is the same man in the bed, committing unspeakable acts against those women. AJ is completely shaken, and now, the true horror of this house finally becomes clear. As AJ turns back in fear toward the old man, he sees something shocking. The old man slowly pulls out a gun from the drawer. AJ believes this is the end for him, but in the very next moment, the old man shoots himself. AJ stands frozen in shock. Now he finally understands the truth. The real monster behind this house was never the woman alone. It was this man. His name was Frank, and he was the source of all this horror. Meanwhile, Tess returns to the house with the police and tries to explain everything. But her torn clothes, injured body, and terrified condition make the officers doubt her. They assume she is under the influence of drugs and refuse to take her story seriously. The police leave without helping. Completely broken, Tess realizes she is on her own now. Night slowly begins to fall. Tess knows that once it gets dark, the terrifying woman will come outside searching for her. Thinking smartly, Tess waits inside her car. As soon as darkness spreads, the woman comes out of the house. Before she can notice Tess starts the car at full speed and crashes straight into her. The woman is slammed against a wall and knocked unconscious. Seeing her chance, Tess runs back into the house to save AJ. Inside, AJ picks up the gun Frank used and tries to escape. The darkness is overwhelming. Suddenly, he sees someone approaching him. In pure panic, AJ fires the gun. When he moves closer, his heart drops. It's Tess. Luckily, the bullet only grazes her stomach, and she survives. AJ supports the injured Tess and helps her outside. But the moment they step out, Tess is horrified. The woman she hit with the car is gone. On top of that, their car is completely destroyed. With no vehicle and no help, they are forced to escape on foot. A little distance away, they meet a strange man who signals them to stay quiet and takes them near an old water tank. He tells them the woman cannot come this far. AJ demands answers. Who is that woman, and what was happening in his house? The man reveals a horrifying truth. He explains that the woman has been living in that house for nearly 40 years, and the house originally belonged to her father. AJ says the house is legally his, but the man clarifies that the original owner was Frank, the same man AJ saw in the basement. Frank was a brutal criminal who kidnapped women, locked them in the basement, and abused them. If a child was born male, Frank killed it. If it was a girl, he kept her alive, imprisoned her, and later abused his own daughters. Most of the children died due to weakness, but one survived. the terrifying woman. The man explains that because she lived in darkness for decades, the woman can't tolerate bright light. That's why she only comes out at night. He also explains something even more disturbing. The woman doesn't want to kill Tess and AJ. She believes they are her children. That's what makes her truly dangerous. She wants to keep them forever. AJ now understands that the man who killed himself was Frank. But suddenly, the wall behind them breaks, and the woman appears. In seconds, she grabs the man by the neck and brutally kills him. Terrified, AJ abandons the injured Tess and runs away. Tess, crying in pain, tries to follow him and keeps calling for help, but AJ doesn't look back. He climbs up a tall water tower. After struggling, Tess also manages to reach the top. Moments later, the woman begins climbing up after them. AJ tries to kill her with the gun, but it slips from his hand and falls down. The woman reaches the top. AJ now fully realizes that she sees Tess as her child and wants to keep her alive forever. AJ cannot accept spending his life trapped underground. Out of pure fear, he makes a horrible decision. Using the woman's motherly instinct, AJ grabs Tess and throws her off the tower. The woman instantly jumps after Tess to save her. While falling, she holds Tess tightly, protecting her body. When AJ comes down, he sees both lying motionless and covered in blood. He believes they are dead, but then Tess wakes up. She realizes that the woman sacrificed herself to save her life. AJ helps Tess stand and tries to justify his actions, saying he had no choice. But Tess now clearly sees the truth. AJ would let anyone die to save himself. Suddenly, the woman stands up. Enraged, she grabs AJ and strangles him to death. She is heartbroken that AJ tried to kill her child. After killing AJ, the woman looks at Tess with sadness and love, like a grieving mother. But Tess is still afraid of her. The woman understands that humans will never accept her. With her terrifying appearance and painful existence, she cannot live in this world. She silently signals Tess to kill her. Tess doesn't want to, but the woman wants freedom from this cursed life. With tears in her eyes, Tess shoots her, finally ending her suffering. So, what did you think about this movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, hit like and subscribe for more awesome stories. See you next time.